a York ban. I think Scion priority is going to exist in this last one. Trundle is going to be the big tip-off to see if Scion gets banned or not. But could definitely see that being a blind, a valid blind for both of our teams here. Some of the mainstays hit the ban list. One that is missing at the moment is Nico. So I think a real choice about whether or not you let Nico through the draft for, I would say Fengyue, but Fengyue has only played it once.
Yeah, Nico low-key not the highest prio for...
It's been banned all series, though. I think that's got to be the conversation for JDG.
There it is.
Nico's
taken away here. They don't want Fengyue to have his hands on that one, so that gives Top Esports the first selection in what is already a very pinched pool. You can see as the fearless champions stack on top of each other like their Jenga blocks. It means just a whole wide array of options no longer at their disposal. NaiYou going to maybe lock in this Nocturne first would be a very fascinating decision.
It is a new pick for NaiYou. It really dissuades the Trundle from coming in from JunJia, which I think is a good sign. Also, I mean, at least now for JDG, like you could go Scion on 3, but I think that Scion's the discussion that you're having right now. It has been Xiaoxu's most played. And ooh is right. I mean, this is a way to play in the Nocturne later on. Wow. That's interesting. That's grabbed so fast.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first Xayah that has been picked in the LPL in the 2026 season. And it looks like Rakan is also going to be locked in. Rakan to match his lover girl in the bottom lane. That duo.
It's been banned twice.
Very powerful here for JDG.
First one picked, and they're going to feed more into the dive identity. It is Kali for Creme. The signature, but I mean, how strong is it if you just pick a little FU Galio right now? Just play some Galio and make the game really hard for the opponent. Like, I think that this is just the perfect scenario. You just slam Galio and you go from there. See if JD Gaming does it. It's not exactly a champ that HongQ plays or is known for. Could also be an opportunity for Xiaoxu to pick up an answer to the Gnar, which he will choose Jax for. Which I don't love, but it does give you options. I think it sounds weird. I would like to see a Ziggs ban against JiaQi or JiaQi. I could see a world where like Nocturne, Ziggs, Gnar, Kali, you just go for like a one bang R fight and then leave it from there. I don't think it has been played by JiaQi. I'm really curious to see if they want to take that away, just because the early setup I see right now, I really favor the JDG side.
I think the Misfortune takeaway makes a lot of sense. JiaQi's been playing that a
TF
lot.
Makes a lot of sense.
TF as well to try to match exactly what the Akali can do in terms of roaming. Still
the reveal Akali in Shroud takes away a lot of her power. Good lane too. Definitely a good HongQ champ. Like that ban. Yeah, I think MF Kaisa probably just the two no-brainers. And then Galio is taken away.
Galio. Okay, so HongQ gonna have to find some other answer here into the Akali, the Twisted Fate, and the Galio no longer available.
The Silas. What do you
like
play
Ari,
here? What do you play here?
Decent amount.
Yeah, Ari's playable and grabbable in this scenario. Do you want to take jungle and wait? That's kind of my other thought. Or you just take Ari and wait. Okay. Yeah, it's just Ari and wait. All right. I would have liked the draft better so far if Galio was picked on 3 for JDG. And I definitely think Jax would be banned for Xiaoxu. But I think that Galio, again, thematically against this team is really oppressive. Synergizes really well with Rakan. And it's game 5. We are resorting to dark technology. It is Yumi, which can really help with the dive comp. I mean, I think it's good this game. It's being played again. I'm quite into it. I really am.
You know what's
I just
funny?
Don't like the fact I see Yumi on my screen.
The funny thing is the last time that this was picked in the LPL was against Top Esports by Team WE. Yao and About.
That's funny.
Or the Yumi at least. It was a Sivir Yumi against a Zeri Rakan for JiaQi and Fengyue. Obviously,
That's
Top
funny.
Esports ended up winning it. That's why they're in the upper end of the bracket here. Going to be a Kiana for JunJia. Spice things up. We've got an electric Game 5 draft set up for ourselves, Cubby.
I don't like the draft that JDG ended up with. I think Jax on 3 was an oops. I would have rather taken Galio, and then you could have opened yourself up for some more carry options in jungle and top. This Kiana, for me, this really puts the game on an early timer for JDG. I think the JDG really have to win this game early. Jax is the one scaling element that they have that kind of exists in their favor. Xayah a little bit as well. But going into Zeri Yuumi, this really puts the timer, I think, late game in top's basket. And for me, like, being able to play quickly with Kiana Ahri, I mean, these are real snap engage timers and combos. I think that tops engage in timers and combos just get easier as this game goes on for them to pull off, like with the Nocturne Akali and then the Yuumi over the top. So this is an interesting draft for JDG. I think that they ended up with kind of risky, assassin-y mid-jungle picks, which we definitely talked a lot about mid-jungle and the fact that JD Gaming, as a team, they like to play fast out of mid-jungle. I think this draft kind of speaks to that. Game 5 and making sure that they have picks that can move and have priority to do stuff early and be active on the map.
Got a feeling we're going to be moving around a lot here in this one, Cubby.
So.
A lot of roaming, a lot of early game action from both of these teams, while also having some of that late game insurance is exactly what you want in a Game 5 of a playoff series. JDG and Top Esports. Winner stays in the upper bracket. Loser goes down to the lower end. Let's do it one final time between JDG and Top.
Nice and somewhat filled up early on. You know, it's the first round of playoffs. We're going to save those big giants for later on.
You know, I always forget that in China right now, it's like the series today started at like 2 p.m. in China, and it's Tuesday. So
that is true.
Maybe we're telling people like, why aren't the Gios louder? Maybe they're not here yet. Maybe they haven't gotten to their seats.
I will take more games anytime. So happy that in the LPL, we never have to worry about not having enough games. This region is crazy to follow. Shout out to anyone and everyone that is in the chat and joining us for our double best of 5 opener to playoffs tonight for the LPL. Of course, we have AL versus WE coming right after that, which is what Grapes is kind of hinting at. But Grapes, you have to have a good conclusion, hopefully a good conclusion, to what has been an adventurous series between Top and JDG so far.
Yeah, you could say that.
Adventurous.
Adventurous is one way to put it. We've gone on adventures mentally, especially if you're a JDG fan, I would say.
The last time that I casted was Ultra Prime OMG, so a little bit less than that.
You know what?
A little bit less than that.
This has the vibes of that matchup, though.
It
you know?
Sadly does.
it's
Not that I'm surprised.
Yeah. It's a lot of the same emotions that we're currently coming out as...
I'm mouthing the word "why" into my mic a lot. That's the emotion that Grapes is looking to convey.
Yeah, exactly. As you know, that's what we love though about the LPL. You could be the bestest of the best, or the bottom of the barrel, and you still have top tier gameplay mixed with a little bit of head scratch and stuff. You get the perfect blend here on our stream here in this league.
We have teams named up at the bottom of the standings and teams at top in the middle of the standings, you know? Just crazy is our game.
Crazy is indeed our game. Like we might get crazy up here in the top side.
That's not this year's motto, but it still is in our hearts.
Xiaoxu lands a stun on a 369. NaiYou just trying to gain control on the top side, but it will allow for JunJia to come in and take this crab rather handily. So both junglers starting on their bottom sides, making their way up here.
JunJia is smart. Next. He looks at the Raptors. Yeah, he should. He has the choice for double crab or Raptors here. He does have a choice. And yeah, that's actually a good read from NaiYou. That step back from the brush and the Q means he's reading the fact that JunJia could be there. Knows that could be a scenario.
And Creme, 200 HP. Not going to be able to find much. Ooh, HongQ flashes in. The electrocute was barely not enough damage as Creme able to stay alive with the help of that Doran shield.
If Creme doesn't flash there, I think that the auto attack comes out for HongQ and that ends up being a victory. So good attempt on the connection there from HongQ. What this means is that in terms of the clear, JunJia's kind of behind now.
Ooh, flash is traded. Up here, JunJia finds the root just at the tip. But that's all he needed here. 369 going to be in trouble in that Mega Gnar form, but survives with just about 100 health.
Okay. This has been kind of unfortunate for JunJia. I mean, you can look at a screenshot of this game for JunJia and say that, you know, he's on the first crab, seeing the top crab, seeing NaiYou above him, knowing the Raptors are likely going to respawn, is going into Nocturne. And we're now at a game state where he only got one crab, and his Raptors are the ones being invaded upon. But Vampire was here at lying in wait. And it will at least get NaiYou out. Yeah. So, Raptors denied, but I think that there's a world where Kiana could be ahead in ramping in this jungle matchup that wasn't taken by JunJia. That time was spent trying to deny the Raptors and gank top. And both turned out to be bad investments of time. And that's pretty good for getting NaiYou into this game. He's yet to base, but he's going to clear out his respawn, Gromp, and Wolves, and feel really good about where his game's at.
It's ticking for NaiYou, waiting for that level 6, and he'll eventually be able to use that Paranoia to great effect. Not a ton of incredible follow-up or setup for the Nocturne ulti, and so it will have to be used in conjunction with something like a Gnar ult, or, you know, we've talked about conditional crowd control for top esports. I feel like it's a similar situation here, but instead of crowd control, you have the go button here in the Nocturne. And hopefully that's a little bit more, and that's just enough for top esports to be able to be okay.
It does help their bot lane is Tom and Jerry. So, you know, if there is some chaos with the lights off, I feel like that's a world that Tom and Jerry's they're going to be happy in that world.
Yeah, definitely true. A lot to think about in terms of the interactions between these two compositions as we get later on in the game, because this is game 5. It's not going to be, it feels like we're not going to have a stomp. JDG currently ahead in terms of gold, mostly through the CS advantage that HongQ has been able to generate, but it feels like we're going late game here. I don't know about you, Cubby.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, this is the last 5 minutes of the NBA game, so we're going to play for real.
Yeah.
As
NaiYou. He hits
Ramp
level 6 and comes in immediately with that Paranoia. JunJia at very low HP, and there goes Creme with the perfect execution to pick up first blood for top esports.
I mean, again, these are the consequences of NaiYou getting a part of the Raptor camp away from Kiana, and then Kiana not being ramped in this matchup. Like, again, after the first crab was taken by Kiana, there was a real world where JunJia could have like taken 2 crabs, might have been able to deny the Raps, could have taken camps and outclear the Nocturne, but no. That time wasn't spent well, and now NaiYou is answering back in full force.
Xiaoxu, he couldn't get the ward hop in time, and NaiYou and 369 will take him down, going from mid straight to top lane and having effect in both sides. NaiYou with an excellent first 7 minutes of this decider.
I've been a little bit hard on top tonight. I think, again, like, there is a real argument for JDG being 4-0 in the games we've seen so far. The shining light of top esports, and the one person that we can distinctly say has been a better performer than his counterpart in this best of 5 for top, it's been NaiYou, and it's been a massive start to the game. Again, I think JunJia really lost the opportunity he had to have tempo on this map, and that gift being given over to NaiYou, it kept the Nocturne at pace with the Kiana, and that, I mean, we're seeing Nocturne. If Nocturne stays at pace to Kiana, that's a big problem for Kiana. Kiana really needs to use her strength at this point of the game to get ramping and start taking these camps really fast, because she will fall off later. Nocturne can stat check her later.
Really good start here for NaiYou. Again, going through that top esports developmental system. Of course, he had 2 splits in the LPL last year, but making his return off of loan, back on his parent organization and making the most of this opportunity. JDG, though, they want to respond on the 369, but he is approaching Mega Gnar and holding the wave in a position that would make it difficult for a dive to occur.
The fact that Yumi's even up here is a little bit surprising, seeing Yumi out of bot lane pre-10 minutes, but I guess it gives away that it is a constructed game. As Grub seems to be a big focus here for both teams. No Dragon's been taken yet. And Yumi's going to show herself on the top side. I don't think NaiYou's going to be able to pull the trigger. He did just get access to his Paranoia up again, but they are behind on the Grub control, and they do not want to fight a Rakan at 6, and I do not blame them for that.
And so, will just be those Grubs going over to JDG, but still an 800 gold lead for TES. Exactly where they want to be, specifically on the top side in 369. You know, 369, you get to Game 5 of Fearless, you think, this guy, Mr. Eclectic, playing all sorts of champions, whipping out the Vladimir, the Kennons, things of all sorts of natures. Maybe a little disappointing to see him lock in the Gnar, until you remember that he's 369 playing Gnar, and he's had countless moments of being excellent on this pick as well. Of course, not always at the top of the priority list in terms of the meta, but when 369 is playing this champion, you are in for a good time.
Off to a good start in the matchup. He's up a lot of CS, actually. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Again, that first gank for JunJia just did not go his way. That's an interesting trade. I guess he gets some more of the wave, or some more of the trade before the wave dies, but... Yeah, I mean, JunJia, early on, I would have to look at a replay to look at how he contested the camps against Nocturne. I don't even think mechanically he was contesting the camps correctly as Kiana. I'd have to kind of take a second look, and we'd have to slow-mo it a little bit, but I know that we talked in the break a little bit about how JunJia's champion pool was going to be pinched for this Game 5. Part of why we were talking about the Trundle and Draft Grapes. And so far, I mean, NaiYou playing the pretty straightforward first pick Nocturne, champ that most of us at home, I feel like, could mechanically execute.
Yeah.
Maybe not master.
I could press R twice.
Yeah. I know the flash.
Maybe once.
Preemptive flash is good on Nocturne. I'm probably not good enough to decide to do it in that moment.
Yeah, I don't even know that. I probably wouldn't be able to do that one. But,
okay.
You know, we gotta have.
So far, though, the you know, being basic has been good for NaiYou.
Yeah,
and that's a positive.
Find that one kill. Now working for the first dragon, JiaQi and Fengyue here first. They should be able to pick this one up. We see a teleport up to the top side of the map for Vampire, who utilizes the unsealed spellbook. They're gonna look for a trade onto 369, who has recently gone mini and should be very vulnerable here. He flashes away from the initial grand entrance, but gets blooped right back into the wall with the supreme display of talent, and it should be all too easy for JunJia to secure 300.
The play didn't even need the help of the Jacks. Xiaoxu just watched in enjoyment as they ran 369 down. So, Creme finds his way up top lane, which is kind of interesting because that means that no one's catching mid, but he could go for a play out of the Jacks.
If that Q hit, I think maybe the trigger would have been pulled there by Creme. Getting close to lethal, if not having that opportunity, but instead goes back to clear out the wave as JDG have flipped the gold lead, albeit a small one, into their favor once again. Wait for, you know, some more action to occur across the rift. It's been a slow one, and you know how high stakes games like this, Cubby, can often result in teams being a little bit more reserved. That seems to be what we're seeing here.
Yeah, sometimes this is nice, though, where, like, you just know that you can plan your Nocturne timers, so at least you have a go button. Or Creme on the Sakali, and hopefully get Gunblade and get playing that timer. And it's Creme Sakali. It is deserving of every bit of praise it gets and more. He is really, really, really good in this champion.
Yes, absolutely. But so is potentially Gala here on this Xayah. He has to flash away. The paranoia, though, he's going to follow him all the way in.
NaiYou?
The Brood Caller at the perfect time will make sure it's a one-for-one trade. And in comes HongQ with the Ahri. Spirit Rush forward. JiaQi, can he get to the wall in time? No, it'll be another kill, as well as Fengyue likely dropping. The 2-for-1 combo will go the way of JunJia as he evens up that kill down in the bottom lane and makes it 4-3 for JDG.
Yeah, Fengyue was trying to do everything he could to prove to his coach that he shouldn't be playing Yuumi in a Game 5 of those clicks, but, you know, still on the Yuumi. He was dodging. It didn't matter, though, at the end, as Gala was able to get out of that one. I just think NaiYou, again, when you press R in the Nocturne, you're kind of committing for the play. And once R is pressed, they commit for a play that I mean, is this there? Is this necessary from top? I think the real answer for me, you're doing a swap. Look at where Akali and Gnar are. And you don't have TPs up on either. And you go for this solo all-in play with Nocturne on this side of the map, and you know you're not going to have mid-priority. I think, that's a bit of a risky ask or a bit of a risky take, and that, in the end, is what ends up collapsing them. Because Ahri was one who was mid at the start of this play, and you're Ahri, so you delete the wave for free, and HongQ interacted, so it ends up being 3 kills over. And I just don't know. These are all young members from Top Esports, the squad. I just don't think that's the right time to all-in as Zeri Yuumi. Even if your conditions are good, take the condition win. You don't need to trade more sometimes. That's where NaiYou comes in, too. If you use that to take away a Raptor camp, get a better reset for a Dragon, use that to pressure mid for a wave. I think that's the kind of stuff that you need to look for sometimes in games where you're playing from behind or from being down, which they're down in draft early, what we talked about in this game. 369's ditching the wave.
Wow, they're fully committing here. Yeah, onto Xiaoxu they go. It will be enough. JiaQi able to finish off that kill. So it looked a little bit dicey at the start. Maybe that trigger should have been pulled a little bit earlier, but NaiYou nonetheless able to get one back.
They used 369's TP to overload top with the bot lane, send 369 down to catch the wave. That's quite good. Now you're going to see the rotation matched as Xayah comes up to catch this next wave. Ahri comes up to catch this wave. And Jax, we'll see if he ends up burning his TP to go answer bot. Good play, though, from Top Esports. That was a good coordinated play across the board.
As both junglers have had big opportunities to set up the rest of their team. JunJia taking a lot more of those resources, while on the other side, NaiYou has been spreading the wealth rather nicely. 369 Creme and JiaQi each with a kill. And we'll see if that ends up being beneficial as the game progresses. Rip Trail started, likely taken here by JDG.
Xiaoxu being behind this timer is a big deal, and TP was burned by the Jax to go bot, so he can't interact with this fight if a fight does break out. So Herald is taken, with NaiYou and JiaQi trying to cut him off, at least in the mid, get the wave, and cut them off into the bot side, which, yeah, good response.
So, wait again for a little bit, as waves will be cleared, camps will be attacked. Now we have this dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Top Esports obviously did get that first one. Try to start the stack of this one a little bit in the bottom side. NaiYou there early to try to take this crab.
Creme's solo kill pressure up here. I'm curious if he goes for it.
Ooh, if he hit either of those spells, maybe. Now we have brought back to the bottom side of the map. Top Esports have started up this Hemtech Dragon, and the paranoia has been issued, but JunJia is able to get over the wall and almost steal it away, but no, it will be TES to secure the Drake. Top laners fighting on the bottom side of your screen. NaiYou living for a lot longer than he maybe should have because of the Yuumi, but 369's dealing, 369's wailing, and 369 is in Meganar and stunned up Gala. That is a dead AD carry for JDG, and HongQ and Xiaoxu have to do the rest of the work. Double kill already here for the Gnar, but he's approaching Mini once again and will back on out. Top Esports get the dragon, and they end up winning the fight.
Yeah, it took too long to kill Nocturne, and I'm curious how the Smite battle went down the way it did, because I saw Dragon hit 1 HP there for a second. So I don't know if it was just JunJia trying to combo damage, it wasn't quite enough, or if NaiYou snuck in a Smite at 1 HP. We're going to get another look. I think the setup of top holding the brush is fine. The TPs were a little bit far south. It looks like he smited it at 1 HP.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Got the snag. From here, that's a hell of a stall that we missed on the Herald. Wow. The Herald from JunJia knocked everyone up, but then he said, see ya from the fight. He blew the full combo and then took mid, outer, and inner from this. So they lose the Dragon. They're even on the members of the fight, and 2 towers go the way of JDG because of how they use the Herald. Frankly, probably worth it for JDG. Ocean Soul was rolled, which isn't super useful. I mean, I wouldn't want to give that away this game by any means, but I'm kind of down to take the fight and take the tower win there for JDG. I think opening up mid is quite nice for protecting yourself against the Nocturne.
And another tower taken here on the top side. So that's 3 turrets, 2-0 in favor of JDG. So they take it back. It might have looked cool to take Gala down, but the result of the play in general is a lot of gold going into the pockets of JD Gaming. Specifically into JunJia. 3-1-2 on this Kiana, getting dangerously strong, approaching that 3rd item at this point.
Yeah, this is... I think the game slowed down a little bit too much for top, as that's a defensive paranoia. You can't really go on Ahri. Yeah, that's just a waste. That's a waste of cooldown. Okay.
Oh, he steals another Spirit Rush proc. Oh, he lands the charm, but it will get Mikhail's by Fengyue. Vampire doesn't care, though. They still want to go in because JunJia is here, and he displays his talent supremely, taking the Zeri down. 369 is mega, but he'll have to hop back over the wall, and JD Gaming find another pick.
All right, JunJia trying to make his mark, get felt in this series before it wraps up. That was a big play, as that really opens up the game for JDG. Creme was top. He can't get the inner again. It's 3 grubs to 0, and some of these trades for JDG with the grub advantage they've had, that's led to pretty much 4 towers being taken now since the last dragon went down. They got mid, outer, and inner, and the other 2 outers. That gold went over. I mean, it kind of got Xiaoxu back in the game, which is important at this point. Being this far behind against Gnar in these breakpoints isn't good for that matchup, but look at how far ahead JunJia is now, who was the big benefactor off of taking those 2 kills. And look at what he just did with that gold grapes as he flashed forward and pretty much destroyed the fight, opened up the game even more in JDG's favor. So we've been saying it's been a rough series for him. We felt like NaiYou's gotten the best of him, but those 2 turrets he got for himself off the dragon being lost, he's trying to cash in, make up for that smite being missed.
He heard us talking some junk in favor of NaiYou. JunJia absolutely delivering here in these last few minutes. We'll see if all the gold going his way ends up being valuable, though, right? Because at the end of the day, that's gold not for HongQ, not for Gala, not even for Xiaoxu. It is on the assassin Kiana, who kind of has a timer on her to make things happen in short succession. But so far, it's been working. Just got to keep the gas on. You have this dragon spawning once again in 50 seconds.
Taking inventory before this dragon. At the moment, it looks like top may not contest. We'll see how Creme walks after this wave. But yeah, this is looking like top is trying to kind of control the top side of the map. And giving away dragon control.
Yeah,
so
this is interesting.
I mean, I don't think they're strong enough to fight yet. I think it has to be feed Zeri as much as possible and pray you can get to 3 or 4 items and then make a difference.
I think maybe getting those 2 dragons ends up being a big difference for top esports, helping them delay this game out a little bit. Or if they just want to fight for it and secure a soul point. It looks like TES is opting for the latter at this point. We have the dragon at 2,000 HP. Charm already connecting onto NaiYou. He dashes in looking for the smite, but no. It will be JDG to secure the Drake and perhaps the fight after that. Gala, though, taken very low as Creme is going to find the kill onto the marksman, looking for HongQ as well. But he'll be able to dash away with the Spirit Rush. Xiaoxu in the meanwhile in a 1v4, able to get 369, but will drop in response. JiaQi gets the gold. It's another 2 for 3, this time in favor of TES.
All right, on one hand, I'm like, I don't like how we fought this as top. I don't know if this is necessary. The setup was not there. We could have taken some camps or played for other farm. I don't think that fight was there. On the other hand, how sick does Creme play this fight? Oh my god, this is awesome. As, let's take a look. Okay, so we aren't able to interrupt JiaQi that much. But watch Creme play this. He's gonna backflip into the shroud and Q Gala, leave it there, take it, and then be able to R HongQ and pressure him out. He got HongQ's flash for that. That was very well played by Creme. Net of the bonus summoner spell because of how well Creme played that. Just understanding his limits, could have used the basic ability to kill off the AD who already flashed. Use the E to get back R2. Talked about Creme's Akali early on, how it's good. That said, wasn't enough to really make a big dent in this game. And another play is coming down to the JiaQi, and he looks dead.
There's 2 towers that he would have to run under that do not exist anymore. And HongQ able to get this one, 369. He gets charmed as soon as the TP comes through. Still in Mega Gnar form, so rather healthy. And in goes NaiYou. Creme doing a ton of damage already. The second proc in the perfect execution should be able to take down Vampire. And it will be overall just those 2 kills. Looking for more, though, as he uses the R2 to back away. HongQ no longer having that Spirit Rush means that he will not be able to follow the chase. But top esports end up making something out of nothing there.
Really well played again by Creme in the 2 for 2. That fight took place. Look at Gala's ult. it's still coming off cooldown. He didn't have access to go up into the skies as Xayah. That's why Creme played the fight as aggressively as he did. It was the right decision as JiaQi on a wave he can't be on. Creme was pushing bot, rotating here. 369 was not pressuring a wave. And that he doesn't have vision or help on that one. That said, JDG trying to play more. Hit out of the TP, so nice skill shots, but Creme is able to go directly for the Xayah the instant that he shows his face in the fight, because he knows there's no flash, no ult on Xayah from the last fight and how quickly this one took place after it, which is a good scenario for top esports. Like that is a scenario that JDG should be avoiding. Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but 369 is dead for another 30 seconds. We'll have to get a replay to see exactly what went down, but it's 4v5 on the map for
I
JDG.
see Supreme display a talent on cooldown. I have a hunch.
Oh.
Other guy one shot. Yep. All right.
Good luck in
Well
esports,
played,
buddy. See ya.
Well played, JunJia.
JunJia is really putting on a show for us at this point. 6 kills now on this Kiana. You know, if he didn't exist in this game, top esports would have a 2,000 gold lead. But now it's JDG up 2K instead. That is just how demonstrably far ahead he is compared to his opposition. It means there's a lot of pressure, but so far, again, he's delivering.
See who can deliver this game to their team, their organization, honestly. I mean, again, this is a game 5, and it is, I don't want to say it's been a lackadaisical back and forth. It's been a pretty aggressive back and forth, with both teams fighting, I think, pretty quickly. Taking inventory before this next dragon again, as we are a minute away. Potential soul point for top esports. Seekers completed on Creme. I mean, I think we just have to watch Creme in these fights. He's been able to do so much already, Grapes. We got to see what else he can do. There is a ward that has been snuck into the back of behind the Dragon Pit by top esports on the JDG side. As JDG, I don't think they can or want to threaten this Baron. I think they would really want to fight again. The only bummer is that Gala and JiaQi are on the same item break points now, which wasn't the case at the last Dragon where Xayah had the advantage. So, talk about getting Zeri as many items as possible. JiaQi has done a decent job of catching up so far, even if it is Gala still ahead.
He's in the gold lead right now. JiaQi has 700 in his favor with that Infinity Edge, so certainly will be powerful.
He's got change, yeah.
Especially with that Lightning Crash, unlocking the empowered crits that his items do provide. Teleport coming into the backline. They don't know that this flank is happening. Here goes Xiaoxu, but here goes the rest of TES. They're diving straight in, but NaiYou's already gone down. Creme stuck in the Shroud, but he's in a 1v4. Will he be able to find a way out of this? I don't think so, as HongQ dashes forward and takes the Akali down. A 2-for-0 in favor of JDG. They should be able to go for the Dragon, or maybe more. Oh, they go into JiaQi right now. Lightning crashes pop. Oh, JiaQi is stealing, but he's not going to be able to be stopped by Xiaoxu. The counter-strike finds its mark, and that's another kill over to JDG.
They're going to have to heal Gala throughout this Baron take if they want to do it. He's a little bit low. They have the quills. They have the plans to try and do it. That was a wild start to the fight. Supreme display of talent was cast and whiffed, and then Paranoia and Cubby were set into the void, apparently. And we're just going to decide the Baron off that.
Man, I need to take another look at this one, because the fact that Creme was so low so quickly, not something you would expect with how well he's been able to play this champion throughout his career.
It was a good... it's just the charm right in. Well played. I mean, Vampire played that well, sitting on top of the Nocturne, and whoever Akali was ulting to get the charm. I think that's top just not going at the right time. And again, where Nocturne without the sound combo, you kind of hinted at earlier, Graves, it could be poor. As disaster averted here, is you could see how much damage Zeri gets down if she dashes and autos, and people are stacked on top of it. But fortunately, a good play from Xiaoxu to shut down any hopes of JiaQi pulling off a miracle in that fight. It is the Baron. It is the Dragon going over to JDG, and we're starting to lay siege.
I've seen this movie before, Cubby. Baron buff for JDG, pushing, and then disaster. Will it happen again? And will top esports be able to pull that rabbit out of the hat? Or will those demons finally be conquered and JDG able to lift themselves to a series win? They have the empowered minions for another minute and 50 seconds. We see a teleport coming in from 369. He wants to join the rest of his team around this bottom lane tier 2. In goes NaiYou with the paranoia, but he's already taken very low and has to flash away to Supreme Space down. And Creme is down! JunJia picks up the gold, and now HongQ is able to dish out some more damage on NaiYou. It's a double kill for the Ahri, looking for a third. Gala's taken down JiaQi, and that just might about do it. 4 kills for nothing for JDG, and they're pushing down the mid lane.
Top Esports, this was a close series on paper. It's going to feel like one that JDG should have put away earlier, but this was a solid Game 5 win for them. And I think, again, JDG drafting to play fast in playoffs and play fast through their LCP mid-jungle duo, and it's working.
369 is shut down. The Nexus Towers are the only thing standing between JDG and that Game 5 victory. What a way to open up the LPL playoffs.
It is, and honestly for JDG, I mean, I think overall they played pretty good today. They didn't convert a couple of the leads they had, and that's why this series went to 5, but if I have to look at other positives for this team, man, I think Vampire put up a pretty nice series as well. Thinking of that Game 5 Recon, you're against the Yuumi, a lot of opportunities to make plays. Vampire really cashed in and played those last few fights cleanly. The Thresh game in the Loss, I think that if he plays Thresh next time I see it, I'm going to be excited. I thought he played really well that game. Yeah. JD, and then we're still seeing the holes with JDG. I think sometimes they play games a little bit too fast. We saw them overcommit for plays, but it still is coming off the back of decent ideas for the most part. And also pound for pound, like, they've got HongQ in the mid lane, man. This guy, he's got the hands. He's got the cojones to back it up. He's a scary player. And seeing HongQ pop off the way he did on the Zoe in that game and then the Ahri for this Game 5 too, got him out of the 2-1 hole and got them the 3-2 win.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people to credit on JD Gaming side. Not satisfied, I'm sure, in terms of how they won this series, but they'll be happy enough to be able to live another day in the upper bracket. I mean, you talk about JunJia and HongQ being the go buttons. It was HongQ for the majority of the start of this series. He had the Zoe pop off in game number 4. And then in this decider, it was his partner in crime in JunJia absolutely popping off on the Kiana in that decisive game number 5. Of course, everyone else also contributing. Gala, I think, just very solid throughout the series. You saw Vampire as well put up some good performances. But you got to be very happy if you're JDG to at least make it out of this one alive. And then most likely getting ready for probably a matchup against AL.
Yeah, I'm expecting AL to win the one later on. And again, I think I can take a lot more positives out of the series for JDG than I can for Top Esports. For Top going into that game, I was asking, win or loss, can you give me something where I'm excited for this team going throughout the lower bracket now? Or at least going throughout the upper bracket, I still find Top to be out bottom 4. And I think whoever they draw next, I mean, we'll see in the bracket. My guess is that they draw WE and then the bracket flips after. I think that's, I mean, it's a rematch, but it's kind of a toss-up. And I don't see, like, the foundation for Top Esports. Like, coming out of that series, what can I point to throughout the 5 games that was consistent or exciting for me to go off of, or to think that this team can beat other teams in the LPL playoffs moving forward? I can't name one of those things off the top of my head. Like, I think NaiYou did a pretty solid job, or had a decent series. Last game wasn't his best towards the back half, but yeah, I don't know what I can point to really for Top Esports to be like, what am I going to build a foundational, or foundationally, what am I going to build a playoff run off of? What's consistent enough? What's good enough for me as a team now? I don't know what that is for Top.
And there's always that caveat that this is just split 1 of 3. You have
JiaQi not in. Yeah.
In the back. He could come in. You have other free agents available. Somebody like Kiana is still available in free agency if you wanted to go for that move. But I think NaiYou in this series and hopefully throughout the rest of this playoffs is able to prove that he is a player worth keeping around and working with if you are TES, because the stuff that we were able to see from him in Group Nirvana is starting to translate now in Group Ascent. And that is a very exciting thing to see if you are a fan of TES.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think NaiYou and Fengyue, like, the way I view it as TES is that If you're going to make any changes for playoffs, you probably would have already made them. You're not going to BLG your jungle position. And then also, this is still a trial run to see if / when JiaQi gets healthy and decides to come back. You know, what is the lineup then? Because Mako is still sitting in the wings on this team as well, potentially. Talking about free agency. But yeah, for me, NaiYou is still a player that seeing him climb the seats as fast as he did, going from Thunder Talk to NIP to literally running the Group Ascend Gauntlet, I think has been impressive. And there hasn't been anything from NaiYou's game where it's been like, oh, I'm for sure out on him, right? Like, his game's not perfect. He has good games and bad games, like I expect out of any young player. Unless your name's Rayo, where you just come in and you're God. But yeah, I think that NaiYou, like, seeing him climb as fast as he has, it has been a little rewarding to see a young player get rewarded in the LPL system, where I feel like a lot of these players end up in bad positions. We don't see as much young talent come up from this region as we do others, and I think that's hurt the region over time.
And you could at least see Top Esports trying with that roster building mentality. Even JDG, honestly, right? Xiaoxu finally getting his first big shot on a top level team. You have a Vampire kind of going from WE, where maybe a more middle tier team, and EDG back up to JDG, where the expectation is to perform when you have players like Gala, like JunJia, like HongQ here. And that's the thing with JDG, is that when they are not making mistakes, and when they're throwing games like they did often in this series, it can get ugly. But when they are kind of all at their top tier, when Xiaoxu is playing like that all-pro top laner that maybe some of us thought that he could have been, when this mid-jungle of JunJia and HongQ, when a combined 14-1 and 14, is able to deliver, this team looks beautiful as those fireworks and behind the castle in Hollywood and Disney World, picturesque displays here for JDG. And so that's what we're hoping to see more of as they can start to continue their playoff run here in Split 1.
Grapes worked the Olympics and now just wants to have the I just won a gold medal rollout for JDG is what I'm picking up on.
There's still a lot more work to be done.
They're not fighting for gold yet.
Can't crown them just yet, but I'm excited about this team. They've got a lot of upside, and we saw it here in this series. Effectively could have won 5 of these games.
Yeah, I might have checked Twitter real quick and saw Swift 5-0 for JDG from someone else, and I feel a little bit not as bad sitting up here and calling that as I see it. Sometimes it feels bad to be like, oh, the teams won games that other teams actually won, but that happens. It's the game of League, and one game of that, I think JD Gaming again have a lot of confidence that they can use to take from this series, build off of it for a playoff run. Excited to see if they can at least do something with that moving forward.
Yeah, and we have the interview going right now in the post-game with JD Gaming, which means it's our time to hand things over to our next matchup. Cubby, thanks so much. It was a blast, obviously, to go through all 5 of these games with you. Hope that there are more of these long, exciting series to go, as JD Gaming take down Top Esports 3-2 to move on in the upper bracket of the LPL playoffs. Don't you go anywhere, though, because there is still a lot more League of Legends left on your plate. Anyone's Legends, the 1 seed, taking on WE right after this.